On the 27th of March this year, the MEC for Education in Gauteng, Mr. Lesufi, made a statement that there was a sudden increase of home education in the province, and he attributed this to two reasons. Firstly, parents don't want their children to integrate with broader society and mix with other children, and secondly, parents want to replace teachers. Here is the video where Mr. Lesufi makes these statements.
If a parent who have not screened can replace 8 teachers and say, I'm teaching my own children on my own, are we convinced that these children are not used to exclude them from social cohesion, to be part of society? And Gauteng, unfortunately, there is a sudden increase of these schools, homeschools, sudden increase. And we are of the view that indeed there is an abuse of this form of schooling. That people, for religious reasons, they don't want their children to be part of the broader society. Secondly, there are some people that believe that children cannot mix with other children. And therefore we believe there must be a strong review of this homeschooling policy. And we want to lead that debate in Gauteng, that one parent can't replace 8 teachers. That because what they do now is homeschooling, and then they open quasi-colleges. They say these colleges are the ones that are training these learners. But they said they don't want a child to be part of a broader schooling population. So there's a sudden increase of these tutorial schools. We either have a private education system or a public education system.
After we've heard the statements of Mr. Lesufi, we consulted a researcher on home education. We consulted Dr. Brian Ray from the USA, who's probably the most experienced researcher on home education in the USA and also internationally. And we asked the question whether there was any basis in research for the statements of Mr. Lesufi. Here is the video.
Recently, a South African provincial education minister, Minister Lesufi of the Gauteng province, has made a statement, and I've sent you the video, you've seen it, that yes, there was a sudden increase in home education in South Africa, and he gave 3 reasons for that. 1, parents do not want their children to integrate with broader society. 2, parents do not want their children to mix with other children. And 3, parents want to replace teachers. What is your reaction to those assertions?
Well, first of all, I would want to know what are the premises for his assertions, and my hunch is he has none, because I haven't found it, I haven't heard of it, I haven't seen it. Secondly, I will respond to those assertions based on the research that I know, which is a research I've been following for over 30 years. There's no empirical evidence to support his sweeping claims. He would have to get much more nuanced if he even wanted to come close to reality. Second of all, research and my experience with hundreds, if not thousands of I would say thousands of homeschool families now, show that they do mix with a variety of people and institutions in their communities and out beyond their communities. On that note, it's kind of interesting. In the United States, many people thought or hoped that once we had the desegregation of public schools in America, there would be maybe like a heaven on earth, or there'd be more integration of race, ethnicity. And now we find the last 10 years, public schools are becoming even more racially segregated in many places, which is just the opposite of what some people had hoped for when the government forced integration. I'm not trying to say which is good or bad here. I'm just giving an observation. So first of all, research shows that homeschool families and children do mix with a variety of people and institutions. Second of all, it's kind of an interesting claim that they want, homeschoolers want parents to replace teachers. I would say they're not replacing teachers. Parents are teachers. Parents are the first teachers of children. They have been for thousands of years. So it's kind of a strange concept to say that they want to replace teachers. Secondly, if by teachers he means government certified teachers, I would say that research shows us that homeschool families do use professional certified teachers if they think that would be best for their children. Sometimes they hire certified teachers. Sometimes they're in cooperatives with other people who are certified teachers. So I don't think they're trying to necessarily avoid professional teachers. Home educators are just not choosing government-controlled institutions where most people are certified teachers. That's different from saying they're trying to avoid or replace teachers. So those are the main things I would say. Oftentimes when people make claims like this, this person did in South Africa, they're trying to like use innuendo or negative comments about homeschoolers. In fact, for example, in the United States, I remember over 20 years ago, I heard some individuals and at least one professor, university professor, claimed that home education was a form of white flight. That was white people trying to get away from black people or Hispanic people. In over 33 years of following research and meeting families, I think I met one person who was promoting anything like that. And I've met thousands and thousands of homeschoolers. I've met hundreds of vendors who sell products. I've met homeschool leaders from all over the world, and I found one in 33 years. So I think that this minister there in South Africa is sort of possibly making up kinds of ideas and claims out of just out of the blue, out of the air.